Einen wunderschönen guten Abend und herzlich willkommen zur Kanban User Group. In unserer Reihe How to Kanban-Boards geht es heute weiter mit Kanban Zone. Dazu haben wir Dimitri Ponomareff zu Gast, CEO und Co-Founder von Kanban Zone. Er wird uns das Tool einmal genauer vorstellen. Viel Spaß bei der heutigen Sendung. So, Dimitri, you're on. You can start.
All right. Well, let's jump straight into it. So this month, it seems we're showcasing Kanban Zone. So let me show you what I have in store for you. I was told to come ready with features. So I lined up, 6 or 7 good features to cover. And I also wanted to make sure that everyone was clear on next steps. So once I show you all this good stuff, you'll be able to decide for yourself if you are ready to start a free trial, schedule time with me or someone from my team, or become a partner. But ultimately, I want to make sure that what you get out of today is a good way to help your organization be more efficient and deliver faster results. So the way we came about this is me and Kristen, the 2 co-founders, we've been Agile Coach for a long time, and we love partnering with other experts in the field because we just want to visualize the ideal way of managing your work. So this was our vision, to just provide the simplest way to efficiently track and deliver your work. So the first thing we want to show you is we do call ourselves Kanban Zone, and that is definitely one of our zone called the Kanban Zone. We have multiple zones, again, to help you make better decision by visualizing your information the way you need it. And I'll showcase the table zone, and there's other zones that I won't have time to show you today, but please note, the focus today will be on the Kanban area. There's other ways to visualize your information. The real problem that we set out to solve was this on the left, is we loved working with our customers on physical board, and they actually built exactly what they needed. And then it was always the same thing. Hey, can you put it in an electronic tool? And the tool couldn't do exactly what was on the board. Well, we made sure to solve this. So what I want to show you first is the idea that we can take any board, and I mean any board, whether it's a single board, multiple processes, it doesn't matter. We have never had a situation where we couldn't reproduce a board. So let me show you what I mean by this by doing a quick live demo. I'm going to go straight into here and start showing you our tutorial board. So when you start in Kanban Zone, you get this tutorial board. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and this is what you see. And I'm going to create a new board. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. I have a lot of organizations, but here's what happens. The way you start is by either designing from scratch, doing the tutorial board I showed you, importing from Trello, or picking from one of the templates. When I say we have a lot of ways to build your board, you can be very simple. You can start doing a little bit more intense. We've developed many various functions in your organization that you can visualize, but the key is always starting with a board template to get going. So these are all some of the templates. To have a little bit of fun, some of you might be hungry. You can plan your meals. You can be you can be very romantic with Kanban if you have a couples in love board, right? Or you can just plan your vacations. Where we're going to focus here is mostly on the portfolio concept and the flight levels. So this is where we're going to focus. And as you can see, we have many, many other templates available across many types of approaches. So I'm going to go back to a very simple template. I'm going to go from the basic one, click create, boom, I've got my board. When I mean flexible board designer, I mean it. When you go in here, I'm actually going to build it with you guys. Most of you are familiar with upstream and downstream Kanban. I'm going to type very fast. So I'm going to type up. I'm going to move the done. Everything is drag and drop, right? So I'm going to move this here. I'm going to move this here. I'm going to move this here. And now I've got my upstream Kanban. I'm going to duplicate this container. Everything in Kanban Zone is containers, right? So this is my downstream, and I'm going to add a column in the middle that I'm going to call commit point, right? So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to call it commit point, right? I'm going very quickly just to show you the concept. So here, what did I do? I'm actually going to set this as a buffer column I have other options, but a buffer column is perfect for this. So now I've got an upstream, a downstream, they're right here. So upstream and downstream, they're right here. I've got a done column at the end. And just for fun, I'm going to add a container vertical with 2 card containers. This is the key, is the card containers contain your information. And we love these. Our customers call these hybrid boards, where you can put stuff that will never move on your board. Why? Because it's using this none column. And a none column is just to, why would you have a wiki or an intranet? Why not just have everything on your board? So what I just built for you, I'll get out of the editing, right, is I've built a board that has an upstream concept, maybe a commitment point, a downstream concept, a done column, and the ability to store some information about your team members, etc. So I'll come back to using cards in a second, but what I want to really showcase here is the idea that building a board, there's not a chance we won't be able to build the board that you need for your team. Then from a Kanban perspective, we do WIP limits, but from both a starvation and overburdening, so min and max, but we can do WIP at the column level, but also a con WIP at the container level or the entire board. So I'll put a con WIP here of minimum 1, maximum 3. Here I'll do a 1 and 2, and we're going to switch back to our board. So now I'm going to start adding cards just quickly to show you the concept. I have a first card. It goes here. I'm going to add another card here. I'm going to put it here. Oh, boom. I'm going to soon hit my limit, right? So obviously I'm hitting this limit, but I'm not hitting yet the limit of the con WIP. So just quickly, guys, anything you could imagine in terms of building board, guarantee it can be built, okay? So that was the first thing, is focusing on the flexible board designer. The next thing I want to jump into is portfolio Kanban and flight levels. You probably are familiar with the concept. I'm going to keep it simple. 3 flight levels: strategy, discovery, and delivery. We have clients who do 5 flight levels. There's no limit, because what you're going to see in a second is what we provide our customers is a very clean way to design the way they need to work. If you really want to use a framework, you can. If you want to build a lean organization and design the most effective way to flow work across your organization, you do whatever you need, and our boards will reproduce it. So let's jump to this demo that will explain how a portfolio Kanban would look like. Here, I had the pleasure of working with Klaus in his flight level classes. And I said, Klaus, do you mind if I put this board up? And you will find it here when you go into here. If you type flight level, you will see that this is from attending Miss Dr. Klaus's class, right? And we definitely love everything he's doing over there. So let me show you what I have going on here. This is a 3 flight level. I'm going to zoom out, right, to show you the 3 levels. In fact, I'm going to use my small cards right here so that it helps a little bit. Flight level 1, delivery. Flight level 2, discovery. Flight level 3, strategy. Now, let me be honest. This is for demo purposes. If you were a client of ours, we'd have a board for your strategy, maybe 1 or more value streams or discovery board, and you would have multiple delivery boards. So these would be separate boards, but everything I'm showing you right now on one board would work exactly the same if these boards were separated, okay? It's for the purpose of the demo. So I'm gonna move back up to my full view. And as you can see, all the columns are different on each of the flight levels. And I'm going to actually filter to only see the green cards, right? So just the green cards, because I want to see only the green cards for this demo. And I'm going to zoom out. So the concept here is simple. Keep an eye on the lines here, the blue lines you see here. Every column has to be associated with a concept, right? To do, in progress, done. So at the strategy level, you would approve something. Now be careful. I'm going actually 4 levels because I have my goals here. You see my goals? They're in a none column because they don't move. So my goal is right here. It's connected to this strategy. So as soon as I move this strategy, you see what just happened? The cards connected up get a signal, and the one going down get a signal. So now the executives are trying to approve something. They move to planning, which signals everyone, hey, they're planning something, and they go, we're ready for implementation. Perfect. Now that they're ready for implementation, the next level down, and I'm going to zoom out, is going to start designing, sending signal back up, right? So as they move to their board, right, and start making progress, they start giving signals now to the bottom level, right? So you see how I've got all the cards connected here? So I'm going to start moving here, moving like this, and then this one, which is in, this one's going to go here in yellow. I'm going to start moving my yellow cards. So this one and this one are going to start moving. I'm going to make it to done. Now, obviously, confettis and celebration, because we often forget to celebrate our success. And so for us, we want to make sure that you take a moment, that serotonin hit to your brain to say, good job, right? And here you go. This card is now done. Now that this one is done, moves to validate, right? And then this other one catches up. This one goes in. I'm going to go a little bit faster for this one. It's going to go done. We're very happy again. Both cards are here. But from a strategy level, you have no clue what's going on yet because nothing has really moved to done. This one gets validated. Boom. Confettis, don't forget about them. One more time. And now the executives or the flight level 1, flight level 3 must measure. Now be careful. How can they measure if they didn't define their measurements at the beginning? Obviously, this is basic Kanban, right? So you move here and now look at this. The goal is also achieved. So this is my fastest way, right, to show you conceptually how simple we can recreate an entire system of boards using flight levels and be very, very clear about the flow of work and the updates across the organization. So that was demo number 2. I think I covered everything. Okay. Demo number 3. We have the ability to create custom fields. So you're going to say, Dimitri, every tool does that. Yeah, they all do it. We do it very simple. And you're going to see everything about Kanban Zone is meant to be extremely simple. The focus should be on the work, not on the tool. The tool is just a tool. So we provide a lot of custom fields, and this is going to be critical. So not only can you recreate online any process, any system you can imagine, you can then start bringing in all the data points that help you make better decisions or will help you measure things. So as you add your custom field, let's go in this demo right here. Let's say you come into this board and this board has 5 cards. But these cards, as you can see, they have these little budget and costs. These are what we call these custom fields, right? You can create as many as you want of different types. I kept it simple for this presentation. I have 2 custom fields, and the custom fields can show on the card, but what's important here is not only can you track it visually, but I told you I would show you my other zones in here. For today's demo, I'm only going to show you the table zone. When I get into the table zone, it's like Excel on very strong drugs, right? And it's going to do a lot of things here, right? You can do crazy stuff like building charts off of your data. You can do pivot tables. You can do anything you can imagine. This is crazy stuff. Like, this is crazy. Okay. But what I did for you is I wanted to prepare a view here. And this is what most of our large customers ask us to do all the time. Dimitri, how much is it costing me across the organization? Well, it's very simple. Just have a custom field that tracks it at the card level and then roll them up across your organization. So you could say, listen, my huge goal was going to cost $1 million. Well, how much is it costing right now? Well, you're already over $1 million. My point is that we combine the power of a Kanban system, right? But with the ability to do real analytics to really understand how your data is contributing to your goals or how you're trying to do things, okay? So this was around custom fields. I was told I didn't have a lot of time, so I'm cramming so much stuff. So hold on to your hat. There's more coming. This is what a card would look like. In the worst case, this is a full card, right? So label, the custom fields are here, your tasks. So just making sure that when we go back to the basics of saying what is a Kanban, well, a Kanban is just a visual card. We go ballistic on showing visual cards, okay? So this is what a visual card would look like. But then, and this is what I mean by being simple, we believe that collaboration is the key. And this next feature is one of our most interesting one. is called mirror cards. And this is what we love to show our clients is you can have a card, but maybe you need to have the card mirrored and visible on other boards. So let me show you a concept of this. So if I go back to my live demo, I forgot to tell you when I was looking through my templates that I can do non-Kanban boards. I don't have to do only Kanban boards. I can do roadmaps. In fact, because I skipped it, I'll just go back here and show you that we have all these visual boards down here. So all these visual boards, right, have nothing to do with Kanban. You can either do a lean mapping or roadmap, which like what I'm using right now, or any other concepts, right? Or you can mix the two. So in this case, I took a roadmap, which is not a Kanban board, right? None of my columns they're all none because it's just a visual. Now it's empty. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go back to my flight level board, and I'm going to remove my filter. So I'm going to clear all my filters, and you see level 2 right here. These are the things, features, projects, epics, whatever you call them, that I want to visualize here, but also in my roadmap planning. So how do I do that? Well, I come here, click mirror roadmap, right? So I just have to find my roadmap. Am I in the, yeah, I'm in the right tool. Okay, roadmap, boom, mirror. I'm going to do it a couple more times. Boom, mirror, boom, roadmap. I'm going to do a couple more. Oh, I didn't do this one. I didn't click fast enough. Okay, mirror, roadmap, mirror, done. And I'll do one more right here, just one more so that I have 3 cards to play with. And here we go. So as soon as you start mirroring card, you get the mirror icon right here, the blue icon that you see here. I'm actually going to move this one here for the fun of it. What does that mean? Well, it means that now if I go to my roadmap board, you will see that I shove them all into into backlog. I can now manage this and say, guys, what should we do with these features? You understand, I am not touching this board. This board, I am not touching. I am just reusing the exact same cards, but now for a different visualization. And we have customers that sometimes mirror their cards on multiple boards to permit this. Why is that important? Well, first of all, I need to see sometimes the same information, but in different visualization. In this case, a roadmap, right? There's other examples of doing this, and I'll show you one more in a second. But conceptually, this is how you would plan for your information. And as you can see, you still have the understanding of how the cards are going from the other board, right? So all the connections are here. It's just you're doing it from another board. So mirror card is extremely powerful. And in fact, I'll show you the example right now. I think I have it here. In fact, I'll switch it here. I will go to my real board, and in my real board, I have a README column, and one of my favorite mirror card is my style guide, where I have a style guide that I show across my organization on all these mirror cards. So my UX designer just has to mirror her card, and every team in the organization can see what's going on. So it permits collaboration, and it permits also sharing of information in a very effective way. I'll show you one last example here, my developer setup. Well, if you join my team, you read one card and you don't have to read more. Everything is in one card, right? So that's the concept, is we try to create something that is extremely gentle to the eye. It's pretty, but it's more importantly, very simple and lets you do your work, right? By not focusing on creating complex things to represent your work. Okay, now let's get into the heavy stuff. Now we're entering metrics. So when it comes to metrics, we go a little bit crazy. We do not use a third party. We do not do plugins. The data is in our system, and we have full access to do crazy stuff. For example, we can produce a lot of metrics. We can tell you all the information you need to know about your process or your team. And I'll show you in the tool in a second, but conceptually, we can give you your cycle time, your throughput, compare it to your arrival rate. Everything you can imagine is available, and it's fast. So let me show you what I mean. So we're going to move into our next live demo. And into this one, we are going to look. It's the same board, yes, because I need a lot of data, but I'm going to run this little menu here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see what's going on here. So my data is coming in, and I'm doing okay. I'm delivering 66 cards a month, but I'm receiving 74, and I'm not abandoning very much. That's good information. My cycle time is around 2 weeks. It's not great, but it is what it is. And my flow efficiency is not great. So 25 is not great. It's not horrible, but it's not great. Now let's dive into these metrics. I'm going to go into the most interesting one, I think, which is this performance tuning. What does this do for you? Well, the first thing it does is it shows you your metrics, but at a column level. It then shows you all your board metrics in one shot, and then it shows you your lead time and cycle time with their tails at the end to know, do you have a long tail? Is it fat? Is it all that good stuff, right? So everything is here. And one thing that I love to do, because we run into this with a lot of customers, is they say, Dimitri, where's my issue? Well, I like to remove the blue because I don't need the blue. The blue are all my to-do columns. So my to-do columns are gone. And now I'm focused on only my yellow in progress, and I could select which one I want, right? And orange. And I'm going to order them from high to low in terms of average time or dwell time. The reason I'm doing this is because I have an executive screaming in my ear saying, Dimitri, you got to go faster. You got to go faster, and I have money, lots of money. You can hire 5 developers. And I'm going to say, timeout. Your issue is not developers. The worst thing you could do to me right now is add 5 developers. It would help nothing. What I need you to do is to pay attention to what is going on with your board. And what's going on right now is your UX is quite busy, in fact, spending more time than your developers, and they have this rework which doubles the time. Long story short, please do not give me 5 developers. How about you give me 1 UX designer? Because that would actually help me. And this is what we run into all the time. People want to help, and they're well intended, but they don't have the data to make good decisions. And that's why we're pushing so hard to have metrics like this to help you understand how to do this. So I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to go into my throughput, because my throughput is probably the most common report that people are used to. And I'm going to illustrate what I mean by being crazy about the data. So this is my throughput. I'm going to show it for 26 weeks. So I'm going to load this data very quickly. If I could click, there we go. So now I've got my throughput. I'm an 11 cards team. That's what I am. I'm an 11 cards. At the beginning of every week, you give me 10 cards. I'm probably going to give you 10 cards. Okay. Why am I showing you this? Well, I mentioned that we can use different parameters. So if you want to see your data differently, right, you can see it by different concepts like priority or size, or, and this is where it gets very interesting, is you can bring in your custom fields and say, hey, I created custom fields. Can I see all this data based on how my custom fields? Remember, this is a platform to completely represent your system, your organization as a whole, from top to bottom. And I'll show you that in the last demo. The idea here is that not only will we show you the graph, right? We'll show you a pretty graph with information, but then we can show you your data, because remember, we own our own data, so we don't have to jump to another plugin. And then you can see both, and you can do a whole bunch of computation. You can also use your custom fields again to filter this data. So this is why I was so crazy about the custom fields, is once you put your topology and terminology in this tool, you can report at every level of the organization. Okay. So this was throughput. We have a whole bunch of other reports here. They're all here, and I'm going to exit. Okay, so almost done. We are back to our demo. In fact, I'm doing way too good on time. I got so stressed. Here we go. So this is the new world we live in. Remember, I told you I had a really good time working with Klaus and his team on understanding how to do flight levels. And what I'm running into is many organizations dream of doing this. Well, we do it, but then they say, but Dimitri, we have our teams in Jira. And I'm like, that's not a problem. What we need to create is an organization that has all the information on specific process or boards, and everything is connected. We have a one-way integration from Jira, and that's what we do with large customers today is we say, listen, you don't want to get out of Jira, that's your problem. But if you want to see the full picture, you can bring all the data into Kanban Zone. Why is that important? The reason it's important is that when you bring the data into Kanban Zone, you can leverage our metrics, you can connect everything, and suddenly you have an entire organization in front of you, and you can make better decisions by knowing that the card right here that came from Jira is connected to this feature, which is connected to this strategy, which is impacting this OKR. And that's the new world we live in. We love helping organizations see their entire picture and then find their bottlenecks with our metric at each board and work with their teams to say, listen, guys, how can we help you? And this is the model that we're trying to help organization now more and more. And we're thinking of other integrations. You can do APIs, Zapier, other things. But right now, our big focus is to help our poor friends who are suffering in Jira and give them a chance to have fun too in Kanban Zone. So from a feature perspective, I did cover a lot. I did go fast. I realize it now. But these are all the features I covered. There's much more. And then everything I shared with you is one click away on Kanban Zone, and you can do everything you need from there. I have slides ready for you, Matthias, because I know you might have some questions for me. So I've got more in my bag of tricks, but I wanted to at least survive the demo.
Thank you. Very, very awesome. I think we should have counted the words that you dropped within the last minutes. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
And take
for being on time.
Yeah, and especially being on time. We Germans like that a lot. So take a deep breath, take some water, and then we will go directly into the questions.
Yeah,
and
but before that,
yeah,
we actually have some words of our advertisers.
Wenn du erfahren möchtest, warum das so ist und noch mehr Fakten zur Kanban-Methode erlernen möchtest, dann komm zu einer unserer nächsten Kanban-Schulungen. Schau einfach rein auf itagile.de/kanban.
Genau, die heutige Sendung wird nämlich unterstützt durch die Zusammenarbeit mit IT Agile. Ob Schulung oder Coaching, IT Agile geht mit euch die richtigen Schritte zur wirkungsvoller Agilität. Als Deutschlands führender Anbieter rund um Kanban bietet IT Agile Mitgliedern der Kanban User Group einen Rabatt in Höhe von 15% auf ihre KSD bzw. KSI-Schulungen für Buchungen bis zum 31.07.2023 mit dem Code KUGHH15, also KUGHH15. Falls ihr uns ebenfalls mal unterstützen wollt, sprecht uns einfach direkt an oder schreibt uns eine E-Mail an info@agila-norden.de. Aber auch jedes Like und Abo hilft.
Die Kanban User Group ist eine gemeinnützige Veranstaltung des Agila Norden e.V. Das Angebot des Vereins, wie ihr unsere Arbeit unterstützen könnt oder Mitglied werdet, erfahrt ihr unter www.agila-norden.de oder ihr schreibt uns eine E-Mail an info@agila-norden.de. Klickt jetzt noch schnell auf Daumen hoch, abonniert den Kanal und aktiviert das Glockensymbol. Ihr werdet dann benachrichtigt, sobald neue Lerninhalte erscheinen und das vollständig kostenfrei.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's start with the chat.
Let's start with the chat. I mean, we have some questions prepared, but let's give the chat the first.
The audience the first. At first, Marina Alex wants to say thank you, especially with her messages. Sorry, over here. Yeah. We use Kanban Zone for sales and executive teams. It is the best tool on the market from data's perspective. Thank you, Dimitri. We check our gross margin dollars as well in Kanban board, and money is the best metric for agile transformation. That's true. Yeah. Actually. And then last minute question at the end of your presentation from Tobias Käser. Is there a connection to Jira on-prem, in parentheses, data center, or the cloud version?
It is the cloud version. I think I could look into the prem, but I believe it's only the cloud version.
Okay. Matthias?
That brings me to the question. So what is the... Imagine I'm using Jira, which most of us and most of the users here are doing, unfortunately. How can I easily transfer all the stuff to Kanban Zone? Is there something?
Yes. So there's two ways to do it. The first way is, why would you just bring everything into Kanban Zone? This is your chance to rethink, redesign, and simplify, and then start fresh. So you're going to say, Dimitri, that's not the right answer. Got it. But that's what I would do. I would actually not just dump the garbage from one tool to the next one. I would actually pause and really make sure that we start clean. We have a Jira integration. The Jira integration, what it does is it says, listen, if you create a card in Jira and your Jira board is connected to a Kanban Zone board, it will show immediately in Kanban Zone. If you update the card, it will be updated. If you move the card or delete the card, it will sync 100%, and it's fast. So we have this way to say, listen, if you're not ready to get out of Jira yet, or you need to do it gradually, then we ease the pain for you and we let you start seeing it in the other side. Now, Matthias, the big thing I want to put on the table is when our customers do this, what they realize is that they are so limited in Jira two ways. The tool itself, but second, their administrator, the poor guy whose job is to fix everyone's workflow, right? And it takes time to quickly modify a board. What they've done is they said, Dimitri, we might have only 4 columns in Jira, but we have 8 columns in Kanban Zone. And we map certain cards to certain columns, and there might be more detail in Kanban Zone, but because of the mapping, we keep it simple for our Jira friends, and we make it a little bit more sophisticated or helpful for our users in Kanban Zone. So the integration would do it immediately for you, but don't forget my first answer. I really would prefer if you stopped, thought, and actually build something better.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Thanks for the hint. But some years ago, I mean, maybe you can remember before we had the Corona, there was a time where we used whiteboards and brown paper on the wall and everything. And beside that, we also had Jira, for example. And sometimes I just told the teams that I'm working with, you can use whatever you want on the brown paper, but have some point of synchronization with Jira. And in Jira, we just have to do, doing, done, but all the other stuff we have on the brown paper. And this is where we collect everything and do the visualization magic. So this is what you are doing basically with Kanban Zone as well. That's what I understood.
Matthias, I'm going to steal it from you. We are doing visualization magic. That is exactly what we're
you
doing.
Can have
and it's
that.
Because I like it because we were just 2 coaches, right? Putting painter's tape on the wall, putting stickies. And I promise you the frustration, you know, when you achieve an ideal flow on the wall and everyone is happy, high five, and, you know, people are happy. And then you go, okay, now put it in the tool. And you go into the tool and you have these limitations. I promise you, you can send me, in fact, anyone can send me a picture of any physical board. I guarantee I recreate it exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's why we built Kanban Zone.
In Germany we say, das Auge ist mit that means something like if you have an ugly meal, but it's represented very fresh and tasty, then, well, that could be everything. Okay.
I love it.
But as we are already talking about integration, is there any chance of integrating it with Miro, concept boards, whatever, of these collaboration platforms?
Yeah, what's interesting with these whiteboard platform is, by the way, they're trying to do more now. Some of them are trying to actually build integration to Jira, and I guess, right? I want to be clear. When I have a customer who's on Miro, I have no problem if you want to brainstorm in Miro. Like, I see these trainers do all their training in Miro or whatever whiteboard they do. I think it's kind of cool for brainstormings or quick workshops. But I think that the key is not only visualizing, but actually tracking. And the reason we don't have an integration with Miro is we replace it. I can show you right now templates of clients who would say, Dimitri, I want to do a visual mapping of my entire product, and I'm doing it in Miro. And I'm like, why would you do it in Miro? You can do it directly here, and then you can connect the cards to actually development teams who can produce the work. And you're going to see right now what Miro and everyone is going to try to do is try to do the execution, because they can't. But they were not intended to do it. So the reason I'm being difficult, Matthias, on this question is use Miro for really brainstorming. But the second it gets serious, go straight to one of our visual boards. It doesn't have to be a Kanban board, and start building it there as a system, not just a bunch of loose things floating around.
So do you have something like a free-to-hand collaboration board to be used?
No, but I can show you. I can still screen share, right?
Yeah.
If I share my screen, okay, perfect. So let me show you this. Okay, I'm actually going to show you my real visual board. So you're going to say, well, Dimitri, it's not as visual, but this is my entire platform, by the way. This is all my features, right? I'm using the technique of, the visual backlog, where you have your backbone elements, your right here, and then under each of them, you've got your features in order of necessity. And you see, I've got everything tracked here, where I know exactly what am I missing to do on every product. This, I think, is much more conducive in a tool like this, where you can move things up and down, but it's not free flow. So I will give you that, but you can do things in your board designer. I won't do it on this board because I'm going to get in trouble. Let me create a new board real quick. So let me just do this one. You can here in your board designer, this is why we build it, is you can make columns of longer width, right? You can do whatever you want here and do things like this, and have the ability to have cards, right, that move or function differently. So I won't lie to you, we are not trying to be a whiteboard tool. In my experience, I know that whiteboarding has its place, but once you get past the brainstorming, you want to move to to a tool that actually can track everything.
Yeah, I think that's why the integration with Jira was so pushed within the last month, I would say, for me itself. Yeah, cool. But we
have another question in the chat.
Sorry?
We have another question in the chat.
Then.
Again from Tobias Kaiser. He asks, Kanban Zone looks like a service from the USA. How you ensure the data privacy in Europe, GDPR, and so on?
Well, I have done a lot of research, and you are correct. We are a company in the US. We are big fat Americans, but I'm actually Canadian, so just for the record. But we our servers are on AWS in the US, and we have many customers in Europe, and some of them are being difficult, and I suspect it's your friends, Tobias. We are looking to put a server in Europe, and it seems we won't have a choice to put it in Germany, because Germany doesn't only request the data to be in Europe, they want it in Germany. France and Germany are the two friendly countries in Europe. So I won't lie to you, in UK, we have no problem doing business because they're not as intense as the French and Germans, but it is not there yet. So we will We will get there eventually. It's a question of business. And right now, I think we're getting a lot more business from Europe than we expected. So it's time.
Cool. And by talking about business, what is the biggest amount of users or company-wise that you have?
So we have insurance companies and banks who run multiple areas of the organization. We have yogurt companies. Oh, this is very important. To my friends who do Kanban, right? We always think it's like, oh well, now it's only for software and IT. We actually build this tool. Many of our customers are farmers, you know, a yogurt company, steel companies. Let me be clear. We help organization in every industry, and that's very important to put out there. So the large companies, like the one that does the yogurt, I have no clue. They have a board with 150 columns in it. That's the problem. We built our designer to be so flexible. They manufacture yogurt with a board of 150 columns. Like, I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but
with
it works
every
for them,
ingredient.
So I'm very happy. Yes, everything. Yes, but you see, this is the pleasure of doing this. Is Kanban came from manufacturing, and I think we forget that there's many applications. I showed you some funny personal boards, right? About, you know, being romantic or planning your meals, but personal Kanban is a big movement that we support inherently. In fact, we'll be coming up soon with a book on personal Kanban, just to highlight how it can help you in your personal life. Now, this is not our main business, but we believe in the Kanban method so much that we don't want to stay just in IT. We want to do it everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. But you didn't answer my question.
Oh,
so what
shoot.
What is the biggest? You don't have to tell names, but how many people are working in the biggest environment that Kanban Zone?
Yeah, how many users
that were used?
Roundabout.
Oh yeah. So in one client, for example, one of our biggest clients. Yeah. So right now, it would be around 350.
Around 350. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's
nice. And talking about business again, what's actually the licensing model? What's the pricing for Kanban Zone?
Well, that's a great question. Let me switch to my presentation, because I decided I would make it easy for you.
Nice.
And let me go right there. There it is. I think there it is. So what I did here is, I want to make sure you know that obviously we compete in the Kanban business, right? But we also like to work in the collaboration. That's why we do so much collaboration. So our pricing is between personal plans start at $5, professional at $11. And as you can see, we're well in line with all the other platforms. And yeah, it's a licensed model. And if we go on our website really quick, you will see that it's pretty. Oh, in fact, I don't know how I'm connected right now. Oops, there we go. If I go here in our pricing, you will see that we have everything here. And I think right now, yeah, I'm in Canada right now, so I'm visiting my family. So I'm in Canadian. So let me give you your German pricing. Let me give it to you right now. Germany, and it would be this.
But the good German price.
Yeah. Let's price.
All right. So yeah, we keep everything simple. I promise you. This is one of our core values, right? We want. The work is already difficult enough, right? Let's keep the tool simple, and our pricing is simple. Our onboarding is simple. We do an education series when people join to teach them about the Kanban method, and we also want to talk to our customers. So just so you know, we have many coaches who are willing to jump on these calls and learn about what problem are you really trying to solve with visualizing your work.
And there was something in the tutorial. So as you were creating your first board, there was this step of tutorial. I think it was called.
Yes.
What is behind it? Because I'm asking because I have a dream of using static for creating that boards. Is that something similar?
Oh, I am so happy you asked this. So one of the AKTs, he wrote a blog about us. He fell in love with our tool, and he said, Dimitri, do you do static? And I'm like, well, I think so, but tell me more about it. And he came in, and and now I'm serious. He says he asked permission to use this picture, right? From Jose, and he said, Dimitri, your tool is so good. Look, this is what I do, but look, I can do it all in Kanban Zone. And he wrote this whole, he went crazy on me, right? And this is what I love, is interacting with, you know, practitioners, right? And look how crazy he went. He actually probably explained my tool better than I did, right? And he explained how you can do static like so easily in Kanban Zone. So we have we offer something similar to static, right? It's the same. It's just we don't call it static. We call it just like, tell us what are your work types, how often do you use them, let's build your process, let's build your explicit agreement, right? It's very similar. But yes, static is definitely, and that's what I mean by members who are trainers, Kanban trainers. Why would you use Miro and all this stuff? Why don't you have your template of your class in Kanban Zone, and then your students, instead of just moving little stickies, you actually build a board, and at the end of the class, your students get to keep using their board after the class so that they can really not only sit through a presentation, but build something real and continue using it after the class. We have many trainers who like that aspect of doing their static courses in Kanban Zone.
Yeah, absolutely great idea. So,
yeah. In the chat, Sven Seiler is asking for the static blog link, the link to the blog article, if we can have that.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
After the show,
Absolutely.
and then we will put it into the video description later on. Yeah. Thank you very much. Was one little thing that I really like to see on all the tools that we have on the show is what actually happens. How do you visualize when I reach my WIP limit?
Oh, okay. So I will show you. So this is actually I like this. Let me go back.
There's probably
I
no
had a
confetti
poll
there in that case.
single board
No
turned
confetti, but
in
don't
red.
forget.
It turns red, just red and explodes.
It just turned red. Yeah.
So the whole board turns then to show me something is wrong.
Yes. So you see how here I was being very nice, right? I'm going to move the cards out. We have manufacturing customers. So what they said, Dimitri, your WIP limits are not serious enough for us. We need really real WIP limits. So here I have it as off, but I use it as alert.
Ooh.
But my manufacturing customers go as on because they're very intense. So as on, it's going to say, oh, okay, life is good. Ooh. You're not doing that. You are not doing that, my friend.
Nice. Yeah.
They are very, very, and so we don't go that intense. We usually go on alert. So alert is a good way to do it. Alert will be a little bit nicer to you, a little bit. It will still give you trouble, but it'll give you the override if you want it.
So like back in the days with Microsoft Word and Clippy, so it seems like you're doing a mistake.
Yeah. Are you
Correct.
serious to
They'll
press
still...
the space bar?
So if you want to still make the mistake, you can make the mistake.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool to have something like a notification to the supervisor. Yes, I'm aware that I will break the WIP limit.
No, it actually creates a Jira ticket for HR.
Something like that.
To check on me.
And if we are at the policies right now, where to put the definition of done, definition of ready?
Yeah, all those.
Yes. So you see
policies.
here, I'm going to go in my board designer and I'm going to expand this board, and we have our explicit policies here, right? So you can type and you can do, some people do exit and entry, right? You can do bullet points. So this could be your entry criteria.
Yeah.
So this would be your entry, and then you'd have maybe your exit after, and you just use them right here directly in this. So let me pull a board that has a lot of explicit agreement. Let me find one that has a lot. Oh, you know what? The portfolio board I was on had a lot. Yeah, this one had some.
Yeah.
I want heavier. I want heavy. That's not too heavy. Let me grab, okay, I'll just take this one. I'll recreate this one real quick. So this one comes in. I have my flight levels, they're all built, but you see they all have explicit agreements in all the things. You can, sometimes people put oh, I know which one I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a very, very intense one that has, it's one of our sales one, I think. This one. Okay, well, this one has exit and exit criteria, right? But the idea is that once you're on a board and you have these, you can see them. You have your preferences of, do you want to see them as partial or icons, right? So you can, we want them to be always visible, right? But the user can choose to visualize them. This is very important to us. Very, very important.
And it's so easy, but handy. It's so easy and handy. Why? I'm not asking why they are not able to do it, but yeah, I really like that. That's
and you see the thing about this is people complain of like, Dimitri, it's so difficult to hire someone, and this. It's not if you have good explicit agreement. If you invest the time in thinking about them and putting them, gosh, onboarding someone, I'm brutal. If I hire someone on Monday, I mean, by noon, they're coding. By 5 o'clock, I mean, they've got their first pull request, right? Because if you know how to do the process, all you have to learn is how to learn to read this. Yeah. And be aware, we have customers in many languages. And sometimes when I look at my boards, like in Korea, I can't recognize my entire tool because everything is customizable. So you can put all this information in your own language, and that's it.
So just because you mentioned it, how many languages are supported at this moment?
So this is a thing, because remember, we are Americans. We believe that everyone speaks English, so everything is only in English. And yes, we are about to launch a French version, a Spanish version, and we're considering a few others. But the reason we've been dragging our feet is our customers are saying, Dimitri, I don't really need it. My custom fields, my board designer, everything I do is in my language already. Yep. So they're not pushing very hard for the translation. We're doing it because we have a very strong partnership in the French communities. And I'm French, and I can tell you, in Quebec, Canada, you don't mess with the French. When they want things in French, it's French.
Yeah, heard about that too.
Yeah. There's one thing regarding the policies as well, that we hear a lot often and want to see a lot often is, how is multiple assignees visualized on one work ticket?
Oh, that's very good. Okay. Now
I'm excited. That Jira can't do pair programming.
Go. Yes. Well, you tell me if you like this. So I'm gonna invite a few people to my board. I need a few friends. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna add a few friends. I'm gonna add Kristen real quick. I'm gonna make her a collaborator. I'm gonna add Chloe. Whoops, Chloe real quick. Okay, perfect. I have friends now. So friends are here. They're in the tool. Perfect. Okay. The idea in our tool is that we want, it's an English expression or American expression. I make fun of American, but I feel that there's one thing that's fantastic about working in the US is the clarity. Everything is very clear. And there's an expression that's called one neck to choke. I'm the one neck to choke on the card, right? Mm-hmm. This is my responsibility. But even though I'm the one in charge of strategy C, I'm the only neck to choke, right? I can have friends help me in the tasks, right? So I can put Kristen on this one, I can put Chloe on this one, and I can keep something on this one, right? So the idea here is that the way we build this is you start with a board, you move to a card, and then in here you can create multiple checklists, right? You can have multiple checklists and drag and drop your tasks between checklists. But the idea is that if you're pair programming or if you're collaborating on a card, you have the ability to divvy up the work and put even due dates, if you really want to, at the task level, right? You can do it at the card level or at the task level. And then this is what I want to show you. I'm going to mirror this card because this is the key. I'm going to mirror it on, I hope I have a board with other members. I don't know, maybe waterfall. Okay, waterfall, I'll mirror that one. Okay, cool. The reason I mirrored this is that now that it's mirrored, you'll see that I'm now seeing people from the other board because they have the mirror icon. This is what I mean by ultimate collaboration. The second you mirror a card, you can get help from people that are not on your team. They're just people in the organization, but because the card is mirror, now they can come and help you on your task. So I got excited again, but you see, I have one owner for the card and multiple people that can help on the card.
And I can see it, so it's visualized in the background. I see it on the left side that
Yes.
it's your icon, but you can maybe hover over it, and then you see all the other people somewhere.
So the way we do it is that we don't forget the table zone, right, is very, very powerful because here you can see this, but we also can show you tasks if you want to. So here I didn't create it. Oh, I'm on the wrong board. I have to go back to, I think it's this one that I created some task. Yeah, I created some tasks here, right? So the idea here is that you can see all the information here, and I'm just missing something. What am I missing? There we go. So you see, I'm here. I'm missing my owners of my card somewhere. I just have to add them, or they're here somewhere. Okay. And you see, I'm on the wrong board. But the idea is that we really think the right way to work is on the Kanban view, the Kanban zone. But under table is where you can really dig deeper and say, am I overloading someone? Is there someone who, right, has too much work or at the task level? So this is why I think that we built mostly a collaboration platform that has the visual strength of the Kanban method.
Okay, and now coming to one of the other features that I would like to see.
And looking at the time, this will probably be the last question, so choose wisely.
Yeah. How's forecasting working?
So forecasting.
3 minutes.
Not in general.
No, we don't have any more time. We're done. No more time. No. I was ready for you. So here's the thing. Under metrics, right? We have, let me go into metrics. I'll go into here and I'll quickly go here under time distribution. This board doesn't have thing. I have to switch. So we have time distribution that gives you an idea. But what we're working on is this. We are working on how many cards can you get by this date. This will be live in August, I believe, August or September. So it's another metric that we'll be adding to here. Sorry, I'm in Figma. So magic ball, very important. You'll click the crystal ball. And when you click the crystal ball, you will get your full forecast in terms of whether it's by date or by things. And obviously it's driven off your data, right? So all your data will factor in to doing a Monte Carlo for forecasting. And this will be a new zone that we'll call the forecast zone.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on that note, thank you very much, Dimitri. Thank you very much, Matthias.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you very much. Behind the scene, our cameraman of the day, Tim.
Hey.
Thank you very much for joining us and helping out. And of course, our colleagues that are not with us today, but behind the scenes, Christian Dingenotto and Daniel.
Westermeier and Per Jochum.
And Per. Get better. Enjoy your vacation and everything. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone out there. Thank you very much for watching this video afterwards, this video on demand. Dimitri, as a special thank you to you, we also, as for every other guest so far, we have planted a tree in Germany for you. So you don't have a server here yet, but you have a tree. You will get the certification via email with the coordinates, so you can actually visit your tree if you ever come to Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. Thank you very much. We will see each other again probably next month. We're currently looking at the end of August. Still has to be finalized. And then we are going to have our second part of the static talk. See you there. Stay in flow and bye.